The analogy that I'm going to use today is based on a story that I read when I was a kid. I'm sure all of you guys, not all of you, but a lot of people, other people did too, called James and the Giant Peach. And I don't actually remember this story that well, although I'm sure I could look it up and it would come back to me. But I do remember the concept of a giant peach and how that was really overwhelming to me. If you guys, one thing about me that's kind of weird is well, I guess it's not weird, but large portions of food always tend to really overwhelm me. So the giant peach is just I remember being a kid being oh my god, the whole peach is edible, there's this giant peach. And so that's kind of the way I feel about um taking in all of this information that we're being given in medical school. I feel like it's a giant peach of information. And when I was a pre-med, I used to really look at the way medical schools, arrange their curriculum for first-year students. I even looked at this a lot during my gap year when I was interviewing and when I was applying to schools, and it really was important to me to see how different medical schools or different places kind of introduce this information to their students. And I think a lot of different places have a lot of different methods. At my school, we have several different campuses, and they all have different ways of doing it. Some of them just do lecture style, in undergrad. Some of them do lecture style, but then do exams in blocks. Some people immerse you in one subject for 6 weeks or something, and then go on to take the exams and then go to the next subject. Some it's pass fail, some it's pass fail, high pass, or whatever. So I used to really take all that stuff into consideration, and I think medical educators really take that stuff into consideration. And I used to think a lot about my background as a biochemistry major and how that might help me. But now that I am an actual medical student, none of that stuff seems really as relevant, because what it is no matter where you are, how the material is being presented to you, the environment of the school you are in, you still have this giant peach of information, and you still got to eat the whole peach, the whole peach. So it really and so example, for me as a biochem major, there are some things in medical biochemistry that are a little maybe more intuitive for me because I've seen it many times before. And then there are other things that are more intuitive, like some anatomy, might be more intuitive for someone else who's had some of that before. But at the end of the day, we all have to eat the peach, and we're all going to end up with this giant peach in our stomachs at the end. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm sure there's a lot of different methods. Other complete schools that I interviewed at would have completely different ways of introducing information to their students. So I'm sure different ways of teaching does help the student remember better or remember differently. But in the end, everybody learns different. You can't really standardize education. And so you kind of have to find your own study method. So it's a learning curve. You have that learning curve across the board, so where you figure out how you study. And then you gotta just get that information in your brain somehow. However it's being presented to you, somehow that information has to get there. And at the end of first year and second year, we all have to know this giant peach of information, no matter where you are, all medical students. We're all learning about hemoglobin. We're all learning basic human anatomy. We're all learning how to look at different types of tissue under a microscope. We're all going to learn that. And so, and it's just, yeah, so you got to eat the giant peach. And so the giant peach is going to be overwhelming as a first year, I think, no matter what. But if you're a first year medical student and you're not overwhelmed by the giant peach, please tell me what's working for you, because it's a lot. So I have exams this week. I'm going to go back to studying. Yeah. Bye.